There's too
Hello,
much
everyone.
cleavage. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, show the cleavage. Show the cleavage. Whatever you want.
Sorry. Just there.
You're good. Okay, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel and my podcast. It is Zachary Reality, and we are here with the lovely Jane, not Jada, because I only know Jane. But we're gonna get to know Jada Star today because she was just eliminated most recently on Claim to Fame. I was rooting for her. We were all rooting for her, as the great Tyra Banks once said. Jane, how are you doing? How has your week been since the episode came out?
It has been such a whirlwind in a great way. Like the relief I feel now that that part is over. I was really excited to see how it all would look, on TV and see how they were going to present it to you guys. And I was really happy with it.
Mhm.
I'm really happy with all of it. I've gotten some really sweet messages. I've gotten a lot of people being like, thank goodness Jane's gone, which I understand completely. And then I've gotten people like you who've been so sweet and told me that like they loved me and they were happy. And I just wanted to do a good job for my aunt. And I tried really hard to win. We all had different strategies, and it was a lot of fun. It's like the best experience of my life.
That's awesome. Yeah, it really came across at the end how much you loved your aunt and how positive you were, especially when you walked away so gracefully. Like you didn't pull a Carly, you didn't like throw a fit. You were just going, no, we love Carly. It was just going off on such a high note, and you were such a threat from the beginning. And I think
Oh
everybody saw
no.
that. So, I mean, we were rooting for you, but it was just like so much Jane at once. Did you feel like that in the moment that you were the center target?
I cannot tell you how often I hid in the closet in that house.
Same, same once in my life.
Just trying to be like, I'm so scared. I didn't know, I had no idea what I was walking into, but I was going to do my very best. I was going to try so hard, and I loved every minute of it. And the
Mhm.
thing that became hard for me immediately was that from the moment I met my castmates, I loved them. I
Mhm.
loved every one of them. And I was like, okay, you're going to have to put on this tough face and you're going to have to play and you're going to have to be like sassy and amazing and do your thing. And I just couldn't keep it up. I liked him too much. You don't know how many people have messaged me and said, but Hugo. And I keep going, Hugo is my baby child and I will not
Mhm.
explain myself. Like I could
Mhm.
not do it. I just couldn't. I didn't want
Yeah.
to even put Chris up there, but if you guys paid attention, you saw me give him a little wink.
Yeah, you do come across as such a lover. I love how much you love. I'm a lover as well, and I guess that was ultimately your demise because you couldn't lie and manipulate, and that's kind of what the game was, and that's where it's heading. Like each week is going to get tougher and tougher, and I was kind of surprised at the end when you really felt relieved because you just couldn't lie anymore, and you felt like you honored your aunt, so you kind of got everything you wanted out of the experience.
I really did. And you know what? Like, that's also not me trying to be like Pollyanna or Mary Poppins and going, you have to lie to be good at this. Like, that's not at all what it is. But like,
Okay.
we all play games, right? Like board games. I play Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. So like the type of games I play are like battle and like it's supposed to be like that. And I can get ugly with my friends and that's how we are. We
Mhm.
know each other. I didn't know my castmates and I didn't know that things I did were going to hurt feelings. And then I ended up just feeling awful. And I know that's horrible when you're in a competition,
Mhm.
but I'm the biggest baby. Like I'm such a baby. And they'll all tell you that too. I was like, I can't. I just wanted to stay and like just support everyone. I was like, can I
Mhm.
just hang out and like we just like talk and like hang out and I'll give everybody like advice. It was still
Yeah.
like so fun.
So was it about it was about the competition at first? Like why did you originally sign on to do the show?
Part of the reason I signed on was because my 15-year-old said, you have to do it. And if you don't, I will never forgive you. Like you have to
Mhm.
do this cool thing because they also know that I'm a big chicken. um, I was so honored and thrilled to be offered the opportunity to do it. And even going through all the stuff you have to go through, even when people have invited you to do a thing to make sure that you're right for it,
Mhm.
I still wasn't sure they were going to pick me. And the whole time I was like, why did they even call me? Like I am no one. I have the most interesting, amazing cousins and family members, and like one of them flies planes, and one of them,
Uh-huh.
like they're just all amazing. One was a burlesque dancer. Like I love all of them so much. And I just felt like I was so like, why me? And now this has helped my confidence so much to see that just being myself on TV, because that's what I promised myself, and that's what my aunt made me promise to do. She
Mhm.
said, "You have to be yourself." I was a performer at Dollywood, so I was
Mhm.
myself, but I was still like this Dollywood version. But she said, "I want to see you." You have
I
a
love
chance to
that.
show people who you are, so you show them who you are. And that's what I tried to do, really. And that's why
Yeah.
you guys saw me be so vulnerable and cry. My only thing, I love everything about the show and everything about how I was portrayed, but I was like, I really didn't pretend to cry though. I'm just really annoying like that. I annoy
Mhm.
myself with it.
I love that. I love that you got that out of the experience, because I think part of the show is to, help those people. If you ever felt like you were in the shadows of like your relative, or for you, like maybe there's been so many relatives who have been so successful, like this really was like your opportunity for everyone to just to get to know you for you. And you did that. You were so funny and quirky. And I mean, you killed it. Like you absolutely killed it.
Oh,
And that's
sweet.
why they picked you,
Oh,
because they knew that you had the personality for it. So did they just like approach you, or did you apply?
I received an email from someone asking me if I'd be interested in maybe considering going through the process of doing that show. And so the first thing I did was I was like, fake, and like just like put it off to the side. I was like, meh. And then I thought about it for a second and I was like, well, let's look it up. What is this kinetic
Mhm.
entertainment? And so like I looked up that stuff and I went, oh, I think it's a legit thing. And I
Yeah.
talked to my husband and my kiddo, and we're a unit. Like we do everything
Uh-huh.
together. And I said, what do you guys think? And they said, call him back, dummy. So like I did.
Yeah.
And she said, hey, if you're not sure, she said, why don't you watch the first season? Tell me what you think. Because
Mhm.
I, of course, would have watched the first season, but I was way behind on my shows. So I wasn't aware of
Mhm.
it yet. I started watching it. I thought I'd watched the first episode and then I binged it like that
Mhm.
night with my family. We were
Yeah.
just in rapture. And like from the first moment, I kept looking at them going, could you imagine if I got to do this? Like, could you even imagine?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I have to
And
know
after I
how many
finished it,
I have to know how many cats are behind you right now. I see like 6.
it's three. They all have introduced themselves to you for some reason.
They
Um,
have.
that is Midnight, and that's our little baby Beelzebub, and then that's Velcro.
Okay, I love it.
You guys, are you surprised I'm a cat lady? Come on.
No, I love it. It's so fun. And I love your style too. You were telling me you liked my style. I was like, I like your style. Not afraid to take
Thank you.
risks.
I wanted to give you
Colorful.
for my very first on camera interview, which I've never done before. You're making me feel very like special.
Yay.
I wore my little exit outfit, which I dressed up in on purpose that
Um,
day because I woke up that morning going, I just have a feeling this is my day. So let's try to
oh
look as
my
cute as
God. The real claim to fame fans would have noticed that by now. They would
oh,
be paying attention and knowing what's up, because there is a big fan base, and I think a lot of people are invested to see what happens the rest of the season.
I'm
And
invested.
yeah, and you gonna come back at the end. So does the way it work at the end is that everyone votes for the winner? Like how does it decide the winner? Because I didn't really see season 1.
Right. Well, like at the end of season one, like I can't, it's like super secret for
Oh,
you
okay.
guys. For the end of our season, you want to be surprised, right?
I'm just wondering like how it ends. Like what happened on season 1?
Right. So in season one, what they did was they had like a top three, and then there was competition, and they got down to the two. And so the winner of that got to choose who guessed, and
Okay,
Elsie got to guess Logan, which was great.
gotcha.
So we follow kind of a similar thing
Okay.
somewhat, but of course it's season two, so we have to make everything like bigger and amazing and
Yeah,
more
yeah.
obnoxious.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I do want surprises, and I know a lot of the
Yes.
audience does too, but little
I
little
just want to make sure
teases.
Pariah like doesn't hit me like and is like, hey, shh.
But I was gonna say earlier, because I've worked in casting before, like it is a lot of outreach, and your aunt being so famous, I think that they probably wanted a lot of like old school famous people to really like try and shake things up with the relatives. So I'm not surprised that they found you. I mean, Dolly Parton is iconic, but I have to ask for my inner child's Hannah Montana. Have you ever met like Miley? Like, what was that like seeing Dolly on
Unfortunately, I
Hannah?
have never met Miley. I have always wanted to meet Miley, and Miley, I want to meet you so badly. I love and respect her so much. And but as far as being like a niece watching my aunt be Hannah Montana's aunt, I thought that was the coolest
Oh
thing. I
my
loved
God.
it. I was like,
That,
we got new family. Come on,
yeah,
Miley, let's hang out. Yeah.
I
And
know.
that's one of the things that I'm so proud of my Aunt Dolly for, like just between you and me,
Yeah.
is how much when Miley had to push away Hannah to become Miley, right? She
Mhm.
had to do some real scary things, and people were so mean to her. And my aunt like you would say, of all people, this old school, lady,
Mm-hmm.
she had her back every step of the way. And I
Mm-hmm.
love that. And I hope people notice that. Like, she loves that Miley became this like tough girl and did her
Yeah.
thing. So I
Yeah.
love Miley.
Yeah, well, they just did the New Year's Eve thing together last year. And I
Yes,
mean, your aunt seems so cool, just like you described. Like, she just seems like she kept up with the times. Like,
she
but
did.
like she always just like paid attention to what's new, and she's always so hip. But then she like never lost her inner Dolly and her iconic style.
Right. And the whole thing about her is that she's still that little girl chasing
Hmm.
butterflies. Like, she loves new things and she's not ever going to be set in her ways. Like, she wants to
Hmm.
see what people are coming up with and all this new stuff. And I love that about her too.
Can you tell me about Dollywood? Because I've never been, and it's definitely on my bucket list. You said you worked there for 9 years. So what were you doing there? And like, what is it like? Like, why does everyone need to visit Dollywood?
Oh my gosh. So I was about to go back to school to get my bachelor's degree in psychology.
Hmm.
Um, and my aunt reached out to me and said, hey, they are putting together a family show at the park with some of your cousins and aunts and uncles. And I heard a rumor that you sang. And would you like to be in it? I'd like you to be in it. And I was like, oh no, because I've always been a songwriter. I never was going to share that with anybody. Like, that was just for me. So I was like, well, I can't say no to her. Could you say no to her? No. So I did it, and it turned out to be the best thing I've ever done. I got to perform with my aunts and uncles and cousins and got to meet all these wonderful people. So Dollywood is such a special place to so many people. And it's
Hmm.
kind of, I don't even know how to describe it to you really. Like, I'm a Disney person. I absolutely love Disney. I go through the gates and I'm like, I'm in the cult the whole time I'm here. I'm happy to be in the Disney cult. Dollywood's its own kind of little version of that. Dolly loves people so much and has put that love out there that there are strangers that consider us all family.
Yeah.
And that's so heavy and so beautiful. And like, all of them come there to kind of have this little family reunion and feel like
Mhm.
they're at home. And when they meet other people that have come to Dollywood, they know why they're all there.
Mhm.
So it's just this really nice little pocket of happiness and wholesomeness and fun.
I
That
love
sounds so
that.
silly, but I really do feel that way. I love it there.
Yeah, I mean, it
I was
feels like
just there like yesterday.
oh, of course. Do you live like really close to Dollywood?
No, actually, I went to Sevierville this week because I went to film some fun stuff so that once I got revealed, I was like, oh, good. Now I can start like communicating with people and
Mhm.
telling them about who I am. And like, so I visited Dollywood and I'm going to have to make some videos for you guys about my visit and
Yes.
introduce you to my cousins that were in the show with me and just kind of, I don't know, just that kind of stuff. And I wanted to be close to her, I guess, when I went through that third episode, and it made me feel really good. I watched it actually from a room at the Dreammore, which like I rented. Like, it wasn't
Mhm.
like I want a room at the Dreammore. It's not like that. I just wanted to be there for that.
Yeah.
And I went with my husband and my kiddo and some of my cousins, and we just had a blast. It was so fun.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure lots of fans will want to kind of see more of the whole family unit and like the content you can kind of make about the show, especially as it plays out.
Yes.
So how are you related to Dolly? It's your mom's sister?
Hmm.
And
My
then
mom is
yeah.
Frida,
Okay.
so I'll do the family trick for you. So
I'm
with
gonna
the
have
family, you get
okay.
ready.
I'm
Okay,
ready.
Willadine, David, Denver, Dolly, Bobby, Stella, Cassie, Randy, Larry, Frida, Floyd, and Rachel. It's like all my aunts and uncles and my mom.
Go.
It's so many. Yes,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Like, just forget it. But
Okay.
yeah, my mom and my uncle were at the end. Frida and Floyd, they were twins.
Okay.
My grandma had one set of twins, and that was my mom and her brother. My mom's an amazing songwriter, Frida,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
her twin brother, my late Uncle Floyd. He is an amazing songwriter. He won awards for writing Rockin' Years, the song that
Oh,
Aunt Dolly did.
wow.
He wrote it about my grandparents.
Okay.
But yeah, that's how I'm related.
Okay. And then here we are. And then you're married and you have one son.
Yes.
Okay. It's a big old family tree.
It's beautiful. You did a good
Yes.
job.
Thank you. Thank you. The light is like reflecting.
It's perfect.
Okay. It's perfect. Okay. Okay. Well,
Yes.
getting
See, I'm
back
just
to
like your big boobed Mrs. Frizzle. Like, I'll just encourage you. Like, you did
yeah.
amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, getting back to the game a little bit. So it seems like a few people started to suspect it, that you were related to Dolly. So what was that kind of like? Did you blame yourself for maybe not performing as well in the challenges as you thought you could have? Were you giving away too easy of clues? Like, what did you think about your gameplay?
So what I thought, looking back on my gameplay, I realized that the number one thing I could take away from it is I was very paranoid. And not speaking for anyone else, but I know multiples of us were very paranoid. So all I was looking for were clues related to my relative so that I could try to protect myself. And I said that in another interview where a big regret of mine is that I was like, I'm just gonna have to do this myself and be like, I should have teamed up with people more because I was afraid. So finding out, I didn't realize that they had already figured me out really until I watched the episode. I had a feeling a couple might have known. But Carson, I was like screaming. I was so happy and proud of her. I like immediately messaged her. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that. It was amazing for sure. So I see now that like no matter what happened, I think I was done. So like it was done. And I'm flattered actually that I was scary. Like that feels good. I'd rather be like a little bit of I'm kind of like a combo villain, nice guy. Like I didn't mean to come off as a villain, but it's okay. Like I'll go from mama to mother. Like I'll be mother. I like that.
I need there to be like an all-star season and they could like bring you back, but then they would have to change the rules a bit.
Right? It'd be so fun though. Like I think that they should just put all of us in a house for Big Brother, like season 1 and season 2, because we are all having the best time. Like we're all in a group chat and it's just this big crazy family right now.
I love that. So why did you pick Chris to guess? And then why did you think he was related to Elvis?
Here we go. So I'm happy that you guys got to see that. I had thought Monet had chosen mine. And I didn't realize that part of that clue that scared me was not very well known to people that weren't hardcore Dolly fans. Of course, I'm a hardcore Dolly fan, like I'm so I knew that. That's all I thought. That's all I thought. So as soon as that was eliminated from my mind, after I'd apologized to Monet, because I genuinely felt bad for thinking that she had done something she hadn't done. And that's something that you guys need to know about me as a person in real life. Like when I have messed up, I am going to say, I am so sorry I messed up, because it like you have to. You have to. It feels gross at first, and then it starts to feel a lot better once you start doing it. So after that, I had very little time between the time I apologized to her and she showed me the clue and I had to go guess. Like we're talking like a couple of hours, right? And I realized, okay, Jane, you have 3 options. You have 2 people you know for sure. You're just sure you know. I felt it in my gut. I knew it. And then you have this clue that you're looking at now that isn't making the most sense. So when I knew that I wouldn't have the gumption to get rid of people that I really loved, I thought, if I'm going to go out today, I'm going to go out trying to play the game and trying to solve a puzzle and holding it in my hand. And that's why it had to be Chris. Whoever's clue they had handed me, even if it was Hugo's, I would have done it because I wanted, that's how I wanted to solve it. I even had a couple of people tell me throughout the day a couple of sure things. But I thought, we all have to play our own game, right? Like, and if you guys want to do that, you have to do it. I appreciate the help, believe me. But there was a little part of me that I didn't exactly bend de la creme myself, if you know what I mean. But I went in with about a 60% certainty in my heart when I could have gone in with 100%.
Yeah.
So calling up Chris even made me feel bad. Calling up Chris even made me feel bad, but I was like, okay, well, at least you can tell him later, hey, I love you, I'm sorry, but I would hope you would have done the same thing. So that's what I did. And I just kind of threw something. To me, it started to make sense. But even as I looked at it, I was like, something's not right still. But the girls really did try to, we really tried to figure it out together. We really tried to. But I know that there was still a little bad blood at the time. There's not now. But in the house at the time. Because I had helped solve Shane's clue and she was in my room. That's why I told him that day. I was like, don't you bring that in here to me. I sleep in here with her. That's just going to happen once you get someone's information. You are just not trusted anymore. And that's okay. Because once people had my information, I felt the same way. I can't fault anybody.
You really went
But yeah,
out
I went in
swinging.
there. Yeah, I still had to go out swinging. And there was that little mom part of me that was like, okay, I
Mhm.
know some of you really, really, really want me out. And maybe we all hurt each other's feelings a little bit. And I don't want to make it super easy. Like, I want to at least make you guys sweat like a tiny bit before I go. Like, I'm an Aries. I have to like
Yeah,
got like a little fire behind me, but I didn't want to hurt anybody at all.
that
And
makes sense.
again, the minute I it was wrong and it was and I didn't know what it meant. We hadn't seen that screen before. And I was like, what
Mhm.
does that mean? Which I'm loving, by the way, hitting me with the Jennifer Lawrence meme. I'm so honored. Like it makes me so happy. And then they said, well, you're wrong. And I was like,
Yeah, you were
all right.
relieved.
That means I'm gonna get In-N-Out burger tonight. I'm gonna go to bed in a room by myself.
Yeah. Wow.
So
You played the game. You went for it.
oh sweet.
You could have, but you took a risk.
It did. I don't think I could have kept it up. I think you
Yeah.
guys would have seen a really sad Jane by like episode 4 or 5. I would have just been like in my bed crying every day.
You have to be so manipulative to win these games. You have to take your personal relationships out of it and manipulate it. And that's probably what we will see with the winner because it's going
Oh
to get more
yeah, and but
intense.
absolutely. And what I love to say is that like about the world in general is that we are all bees in a beehive, right? Like we all have little jobs and things that we are good at just naturally.
Yeah.
Some people are naturally good at that and that's so good. I That's not my job. Like
Yeah.
my little job in the beehive is to be like, good job everybody, here let me write you a song. Like
Uh-huh.
that's me and that's okay. I learned through this experience maybe that's not for me, but also because I was representing my aunt, I wasn't there because of me. I was there because of her.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do my best for her. And I had this pressure to not disappoint her. I
Yeah.
wanted to do such a good job. If I were given another opportunity to do something similar, I think the pressure would be off me and I'd be able to really play the way I like to play when I'm playing
Yeah.
Commander on Thursday nights, you know, with my friends,
Uh-huh.
that kind of stuff. So,
That makes a lot of sense. And that's definitely very respectable. Well, we have 9 contestants left. We have Chris, Cole, Gabriel, Hugo, JR, Carson, Monet, Olivia, and Shane. We don't
all my
want,
babies.
you don't want to tell us too much, obviously, but I mean, who do we need to watch? Who is going to make a splash?
You're going to need to watch everybody.
Everyone.
Everyone in that house was something else. Like
Mhm.
everyone in that house. I can't tell you how excited I am to watch the rest of this season with
Mhm. Yeah.
with you guys, and to see what all happened while I wasn't there.
Mhm.
Like, I'm excited because every single one of us came in there with a completely different strategy,
Mhm.
and every one of them gets to kind of play it out. And
Yeah.
I'm stoked to see it. Like everyone had good ideas. You just don't know what's going to happen until you
Mhm.
get everyone in the room together.
Yeah.
And I think that they really struck gold with us, like they did with the first season. And also, I'm going to say the first season is the whole reason why most of us chose to be on the show,
Mhm.
because they did such an amazing job and they made it look like so much fun. So,
Mhm.
again, they do such a good job with, Kinetic Entertainment to choose us.
Yeah.
They chose great groups of people, and I think you guys are going to be real entertained. It's going to get real crazy. Real
Okay.
crazy. You
I'm
thought I was
excited.
something. You wait. Just wait.
Well, I mean, sometimes some characters like stay low key in the first few episodes because they're going to come out later. So I am invested. I'm sure everyone who is watching or listening to this is invested or is definitely now. And I think this show has a lot of layers. I think there's a lot of seasons to come. Kinetic always has
Oh, yes,
great
I'm hoping that
content.
too.
They also produced the Ultimatum. They work with Love Is Blind. So
Oh, yeah.
they know how to make good reality
They know what
TV.
they're doing, like
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
again, I was very honored to get to work for them.
yeah, absolutely. Well, this is not the last we'll see of Jane. Oh, I wanted to ask you, why did you change your name for the show? Was that like a strategic thing?
It was a little bit. So I have said before too, I'm not anybody. But because I worked at Dollywood for 9 years, there are some people that have come through that do know that first name, and it's not like a super
Okay.
common first name.
Yeah.
And in relation to Dolly. So I thought it might help me a little bit if I walk in there and have that a little different, because
Fair.
because I have a horrible memory. I went with Jane because I was like, okay, I need the J-A name because if I wake up groggy in the morning and it's before my coffee and someone says my name and I don't turn my head, that's gonna look weird.
Yeah, that
So,
will.
and Jane was perfect for me because I
Wow.
have an Aunt Jane on my dad's side. My
Mhm.
mom's the Parton, my dad's an Anderson, Mark Anderson. Hi, Dad, I love you.
Love that.
And so I chose Jane because I thought, okay, well, every time I hear that name, I'm also going to think of my dad a little bit.
Mhm.
And he's like a really good cheerleader for me. So that was another reason. And I like the song Sweet Jane by Lou Reed. Like I have
So many,
layers.
there's so many layers. No,
Like an ogre.
that makes so much sense because the morning coffee thing, I was like, that makes sense. Because like we're so programmed to know our name. Like that's why babies, dogs, they learn their names so quickly. Like you learn your
Yeah.
name, you're so used to it, like subconsciously, but changing it is hard. So this honestly makes sense. And I just figured it out. I just learned that your name was Jada Star on this week's episode. So I was like, wait, what? You can do that? I didn't know that that was even a rule.
I loved everyone's reactions. I'm so happy that shook you guys a little bit. I was
That
like,
was great.
yeah, I did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on here and like telling us a little bit more about your family and your time on the show. I'm sure everybody really appreciated it who listened and watched. I loved learning more about it. I really was rooting for you, but I totally understand what happened and
I'll find more people to root for. They're all worth it.
I think I'm gonna root for Chris now.
All right, do it. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, and don't forget because tomorrow I'm going to release the my Jonas single from the talent show, so you guys can actually hear like the whole song that I wrote for him.
Oh, cool.
For
Yeah,
Franklin.
tell everybody where they could follow you and find you, and I'll leave your links down below in the description as
Oh,
well.
you're amazing! Yay! Yeah, you can find me on like all platforms under Jada Star Music. And I wrote that little song for Franklin for the talent show because I was like, what talent am I going to do? I'm not good at anything. So, like anything but writing something. So I thought, why not kind of like give some love to our little Franklin? And I'm happy that I did. Like, and my friends that were Jonas Brothers fans, all of them have like this little deep love for Franklin and they all approved of it. So I was like, all right. But I got to make a really fun video and track with my cousins and my family. And I'm excited to show that to you guys. And to him, I hope he likes it too. It's called My Favorite Jonas. You'll be able to see it tomorrow on Friday.
I love that. Yeah, I love that you are the biggest Franklin supporter because he deserves all the
Yeah.
love.
Well, we understand him and he's worked so hard. They've all worked so hard, but like he really like he's so talented. And I'm happy we get to see that. And I'm happy his brothers also like support him and are proud of him. That's like a whole sweet, wonderful thing.
Yeah, I love the Jonas Brothers. Love the Jonas Brothers. Like
Jonas.
forever, all of them. Like absolutely. Grew up watching them just like Hannah Montana. We stand.
Aww.
So everyone go check out Jada's music. New song coming soon. And thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please be sure to rate this podcast 5 stars. Give it a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. And we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.